They all try to convince me, but I still wear a smile on my face. A smile is just a start from a good, happy place. Hold on to possibilities of who you wanna be. What you see, what you believe, be your destiny. Like they say, everybody can take this ride. Sometime you must encourage yourself to live the good life. Everybody wants a good life, yeah, a piece of pie. See, everybody wants the good life, the good life.
Hey, how are you? Hi, I'm Musa Jackson, and this is Ambassador Digital Magazine Live. Welcome to our show. So excited for today. We have an amazing guest. She's going to get into her later, but she is incredible. So I can't wait to bring her out. Gosh, oh my God. So we all woke up to a nor'easter, or fell asleep to a nor'easter. And here we are, like, digging out from under the snow. Some of us have probably gone to play in the snow. Good friends of mine were trying to drag me out to do, what do you call that, angels? Come on out, Moose. But here we are. Wow, here we are. A week before Christmas. And so hopefully, we can find, even talking to Jung Lee, that we can find some holiday cheer, perfect person for that. A little sweater on to give a little flavor, to go in that direction. So let's talk about what's happening, right? That's what we do, right? So, William Barr. So William Barr resigned. Don't we wish Mitch McConnell, don't we wish he'd follow him? So that's how we have that to be grateful for. That's one of the things we have to be grateful for. Also, we have started the voting in Georgia. Early voting has already started on Monday and will continue up until the election. So I need all of my Georgians to go out and do the early voting, to send, do all of that. And on the day of, we need you to go hard. We need those 2 seats. Okay, so we're all here rooting for you. And, we don't want them to have any lead over us, because right now it seems to be going in our favor, and we just want to keep it a landslide. The vaccine, Pfizer vaccine has arrived, and there's been pros and cons about that. I think with a lot of people, there's some hesitancy for a lot of us, although I know it's important that we have faith and trust that this is the vaccine that's going to work. And so I'm hopeful, and I'm grateful that they have started to distribute it to our healthcare workers around the nation. So that's a great thing. And I think Moderna, that's Pfizer, so Moderna is coming right after that. And so, I think we're on our way to digging out of this situation that we're in with with COVID, so that's a good thing. Also, I heard that they also have a at-home kit that's coming into the market. I think it's coming to CVS next week, where we can basically do self-home test, kind of like I was told, kind of like a pregnancy test, where you just basically, I guess, you spit into this vial thing and you send it and you get your results. So that way you don't have to actually go anywhere. So you can just go and do it in your home. So I guess they're making all this sort of so we can just kind of monitor where we are. We still need to social distance. We certainly need to wear a mask. Let's all make sure we get through this, because I think even with the vaccine, we all still have to continue to wear the mask. And I think, and just really, I think they need to have more, just as much information out there so that we all are on the same page with everything. What else we got? As if you're here in New York, one of the big things with us is that, there's been, the restaurants have closed indoor dining. And, being in Harlem, working with a lot of restaurants, I've been privy to open many restaurants. A lot of my friends are suffering and their businesses are suffering. And recently, one of my great friends, Melba Wilson, who is the president of the New York City Hospitality Alliance, as well as the owner and operator of Melba's restaurant, took together with most of the restaurants in New York City, took to Times Square for a rally to save the restaurant industry. It's so important. Restaurants are so important and vital to our economy, to tourism, to businesses, to people who are trying to feed their families. And so it's really important now that we do the best we can to maybe order. They're there for takeout and delivery. So let's try and do that. Let's see how we can all pull together and save the restaurants, but also, just the government has to see this as a top priority, along with, of course, the unemployment rate that's happening around this country. I have so many friends in the arts, struggling in theater and art and in the film industry, everywhere, who are just trying to make it. And the fact that they have to struggle and just almost, man, I'm sorry. These are friends of mine. One actually in particular, hit me up and said she didn't know what she was going to do, because if they don't pass this stimulus, she was looking at, some really hard times. And I'm faithful that they're going to pass within the next couple of days. I told her to really hang on. And, I don't know what $600 is going to do for most of us, but, as they said, something just to maybe start it, just to keep, the moratorium to stave off evictions. I think they're going to, have that continue. So, I need our government to just start to look at the people, start to look at the us, who are the most important people, this country, and do the right thing and do it soon. I think, you know what? I think it's time to be on our guests, because right now I feel like we all need, and I love this woman for this, need a little joy in our life, right? And like I said, I think we're going to definitely be heading in the right direction. Come January 20th, we'll have a new administration. An administration and a cabinet that looks like us. I'm excited about that. There's been many firsts. I forgot to mention this. First Native American woman will be handling interiors. I'm just so excited about that, right? Yes, Interior Secretary. Oh my God. And the first Black male of the EPA. I mean, this is incredible. I love where we're going with all this. We have Kamala Harris, a VP. Here he is. So this is amazing. Then we have Pete. Please, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't know how to say his last name properly, but Pete Buttigieg is also part of the cabinet. So we're looking at, like I said, a cabinet that finally reflects who we are and our values, regardless of race, gender, sexuality. And I'm excited about that, So now, on that note, the first guest, our guest for tonight, is an amazing woman. She is considered one of the top event wedding planners in the world. She has her own business. She's an entrepreneur. She has a business called Fete, which is a home decor business. She also has Slow Dance Registry. And, you know, she's been a reality star. You know, I don't know if there's much that she can't do. So I'm going to bring her out because I think she's the one that's going to, as I said, she can bring the joy on how to make this holiday season. I'm going to ask some questions too. So without further ado, I want to bring out my friend, Jung Lee. Come on out here. Hi. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to see you. You're beautiful.
Oh, you look great. You look amazing. Beautiful. I love the off the shoulder.
I tried a little bit for you. You know, like I was all bundled up. It's snowy in New York, and so I needed to feel like a little party atmosphere, right?
Yeah, you bring the party. You bring the joy.
I tried. No, we all need as much joy as possible. We all know life is super short, and we owe it to ourselves to be the best we can be and to bring the most out of life, right?
Yeah. We always, okay, so Jung, you always like this? Because since I've met you, you're like, you know, bubbly, fun, you know what I mean? And I know you named your company Fete. Fete, how do you say it? It's French.
It's French for party, you know?
It's party. It's a party.
Right. Unfortunately, I can't come up with the COVID vaccine, but once that happens, everyone, we're going to party and we're going to get together and we're going to have an amazing experience time. And to me, life, the greatest times of my life has when we have these shared experiences together, when we come together for a common cause and celebrate. Like that to me, like there's nothing that beats it, whether it be a wedding or an inauguration, like a new cabinet, the whole house gets cleaned, you know, at the White House. Or, I mean, there's so much that I think life is hard. And I think when we can find a really good excuse to come up and together and celebrate and unite and have a common cause, there's nothing like that.
Right? Aren't you, I mean, we're going to go, obviously we're going to talk about your career back, but you know, it's funny. I started feeling excited again, honestly, when I started looking at how they're putting this cabinet together, right? You know, a Native American woman, you know, someone represent LGBTQIA, the Black women. I'm just so excited about what I'm feeling. How do you feel? How are you feeling?
I feel like once we knew what the outcome and the results were for the next president of the United States of America, we were all dancing in the street. Across the nation, we were all dancing in the street. Like it just, there you go, right? That's how we feel. That's how I feel internally, right? Now I want to do it, hold hands and do it with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's official. Finally, let's just claim it. I mean, come on. Electables, done. Finito. Finito. Now even the Republicans now have to admit and are starting to finally recognize Joe Biden president-elect and saying it. You know, so that part. So listen. Let's talk about you and let's talk about like, so you were, okay, so you're born in South Korea and then moved here. Take us back a little bit. Let us know a little bit about who you are, where you started at.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a very typical Korean immigrant who came to New York. I was 5 when I came. My parents had a very good life in Korea, but they saw the US of A as the land of opportunity, where their children would be better than how they were. As good as they weren't great, but they were very comfortable. And unlike, I think, other Korean immigrants that come abroad, my parents weren't necessarily most educated. They didn't have lots of friends and family. They knew some people, but we definitely didn't have any family. We're the first. And I watched them. So I learned by watching as opposed to being instructed, you know, and that's just my process. And so they came to this country. I mean, didn't speak a language, didn't, you know, my mother is like high school grad, barely, and my father helped her to that level. And I remember coming to this country, not speaking the language. And prior to this, we were 1 year in South America. So we're trying to figure out Spanish and then coming to here to the States for English.
Right.
We lived in Brooklyn in a tenement apartment. The first apartment store I've ever gone to was 1321, which obviously still coveted, right? Roll up the bargain wherever you are.
Absolutely.
21, but you know. And then my parents, everything that they had, and they bought a small fruit and vegetable stand on what was considered an Upper East Side, but it was very different. It was 90th Street and 2nd Avenue, and I grew up around it.
And where?
On 90th Street and 2nd Avenue. That was our first store, and it was called the Urban Fruit and Vegetable Market. And we bought it from an Italian man named Dominic. And I consider myself to this day the produce girl. I know how to pick out really good fruit and vegetables, you know, and I always have to have them in my life.
Right.
I know how to cut up all the fruit. I know how to pick out the right ones. And that was a big part of my life because when I was a kid, after school, my parents were very traditional. They still, you know, we've been in this country for 30 plus years and their English isn't great. So if I need to communicate with them, I speak to them in Korean. And after school, our routine was we came, we bowed to our parents saying we had a good day. How was your day? And then we worked. So I feel like since I was—
You worked in a store? You worked in a store?
I worked at the store. And I would make little parsley bundles and little florets out of the parsley bundle. And so you know, of course, no kid wants to work and every kid wants to be like every other kid. And I was no different, but this is what I had to do.
Right.
But that early formation, although I resented it at the time, that helped me build who I am today. That's part of my character and my strength of who I am today. And so I am eternally grateful.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, it's interesting because when you're working at such a young age, did it really ingrain that hard work value that you have? Because you definitely, you know, you go for it. So did that play a real big part in that? Do you think the formation of that?
Yeah. I mean, when in life that's all you know, that's who you become. And so there was no easy way out. And, you know, again, much like all the other kids, you want to be like everybody else and you don't want to stand out. But yeah, I worked.
Right.
And after school, I came to my parents' store and I worked and, you know, because that's what I had to do. So you do what you got to do.
Right. And so what was it like at home? Was it traditional in terms of like the food and all of that? Is that what was Korean food? Was that it? Or
oh my God, so embarrassingly so. You know, like today you go to different houses and to take shoes off, it's not so unusual. Right. But I have to ask my friends to take off their shoes, and then they open the fridge and they see kimchi. What's that? And there's a smell, and it's so ironic that like Korean food, you know, in the last few years has been kind of become a bit more mainstream, and that's
you're ahead of the curve.
I know, like little kimchi jars in like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and like that's wild to me. Had I known back then, but of course I was embarrassed by it. You know, I didn't want to be different, but that was it.
Yeah, I think we all feel that way. You know what I mean? It's like growing up in Harlem, and I grew up in the projects, and so what we had in the refrigerator was different. I went to private school. So I wanted to be more like, you see what I'm saying? More like my Upper East Side white Jewish friends who had like a maid or whatever. And I'm like looking at my refrigerator and it didn't look or reflect like what they had, right? So I think we always want what we don't have or somewhat shy away from it. But then when I look back, I say, oh my God, I really love soul food. You know what I mean? So I was running away from what everybody wants. But then, okay, so then you moved, so then now, and you went to NYU, right?
I did, but I want to say,
Okay, no, go back, yeah.
I love that connection about us because I feel like we're so similar in that way where we become a sponge and we become like, we can sort of adapt so easily to our environment. And I think that's who we're chameleons, right? We can travel in different circles and feel comfortable and make whoever is around us feel comfortable. And I think you and I have a very similar shared path. You know, I remember like, you know, I went to a public school on 91st Street, which I think they closed it down because of too much asbestos, but who knew? But I think I'm okay. But you know, my best friends, you know, I walked from there to Spanish Harlem and I wanted to be like them. And I remember, you know, and it's so interesting. Like I was sort of on the borderline of that because I lived on 90th Street, but all my friends lived in East Harlem and Spanish Harlem, and I would just walk it. I walked everywhere.
Right.
And
right. That's so funny because I grew up in Spanish Harlem, and my friends lived 86th Street. You know, because I went to Manhattan Country School.
Yeah.
96th Street off Fifth. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. And then Hunter, remember Hunter? Right there.
Of course.
And you were in York, so your parents had their store in Yorkville.
Yes, that's right.
It's called Yorkville.
That's right.
Yep. And so, you know, but that's the thing. You sometimes you want what the others have, you see. You know what I mean? But of course, how we grew up, we understood that we are a part of this larger thing because a lot of people from our reflective neighborhoods only stayed in those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of kids I grew up with in East Harlem are still in East Harlem, you know?
But Musa, don't you find that so interesting in the sense that we're in this tiny little island of Manhattan? And look at that, we've got a label: East Harlem, Spanish Harlem, you know, Upper East Side, Yorkville, Rupert, you know, Soho. Is that crazy? Like, why can't we just be New Yorkers, right?
Right. So true.
But,
so true. So we take those experiences and we grow up and we're now in NYU. What was that like? Because you'd be the first from your family, right, to go to college, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have two older brothers, and they went to colleges. But in our nucleus family, for sure, you know, we were, you know, very few of us had gone to the higher education,
right?
And you know, I think that, and this is sort of what I realized when I first started my event planning career. Like in life, we only know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And I'm going to tell you something. Actually, the first person who ever actually told me this is a brilliant economist, and he had gone to Harvard, he and his wife. And she had undergrad gone to Columbia, and we did their wedding at the chapel at Columbia. But it's so simple, but it was profound. Like, we only know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. And why I say that is, I did go to NYU, and at the time, because I kind of grew up in New York, and you know, I was like a product of club kids and went to the clubs, and all my, you know, because all my friends went to LaGuardia, which is like, you know, like they were dance majors and art majors and all of that. And it was like too cool for school. So while I was at NYU, I never lived like a college life.
Right.
And I wish somebody had said to me, you know what, John, I'm going to tell you, this is the life that you should live, because this is a short window of opportunity and then you're going to move on. Right. And so, I didn't make the most of my university years. And I feel like at this point in my life, I feel like time is the greatest and the most precious currency that we all have as individuals. So what will you do with your time? You know, and let me tell you all the possibilities. And I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have that sort of guidance. My parents certainly weren't going to tell me. And my childhood was such that I parented myself, my brothers and I because my parents were always working. And in that regard, the fortitude, and we became super independent and very mature at a very young age. So we knew we could do lots of things. But you're still young. You only know what you know, and there's so much that you ought to know, but you don't, and someone else has to help you, sort of guide you. And I didn't have that. So why I'm saying this is because had I would have not have gone to NYU. I grew up in New York. I know what New York is. You know, like I should have then explored something else. But such that I went to NYU.
And what did you study? What did you say at NYU?
I actually. The truth of the matter is I changed a couple of majors.
Okay.
I went to College of Arts and Science,
okay,
which is their liberal arts school, and I graduated with a politics major, political science. I know, it's very interesting. And I only decided that later in life because I met a professor that I was like, incredible. Look at all this power with knowledge that you can have. And I thought I was going to go into law, but I didn't.
Okay. But you've so you know, your career or your trajectory is, is unconventional to get to where you are. Because weren't you in real estate and all that? How did you sort of transfer that to where you are now with events? You know what I mean? How are we getting there?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say being a wedding planner is the furthest thing I thought I'd ever be doing. But the reality is such that I graduated, I was always involved in my family business, my parents' business.
Right.
So at a young age, I remember negotiating lease contracts, making deals with the Coca-Cola vendor, the Snapple, across the board. What shelf do they get? How much discount are we going to get? For every so many cases, how many cases are we going to get for free? And always sort of like pushing that envelope. And I love that. I remember like drinking like a carton of Tropicana. That would last me a good 15 hours. And I could just make those phone calls and make those deals. And I love that deal making. I love seeing nothing being something really incredible because I put energy to it. And I love that concept. And I realized that at a first big store, which was on 42nd Street. It was called the 42nd Street Bazaar. And it was like right across the street from Grand Central Station. And I learned so much. And I was 14 at the time that I was hammering deals out. And people didn't, you don't go and say, hi, I'm 14 years old. I'm going to hammer, and so much like what we were talking about before, it was a chameleon. I needed to play the business suit. So you pick up the things that you've seen on TV and whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm going to play that role.
Wow. So where did you get this passion for event planning? How did that occur?
So what happened was I graduated college. I opened up my first big store called Azure, which now my daughter is named after. And it's a full circle of life because when I took that stage, it was that old bank space and all the big banks had become defunct because real estate was so tough in New York. So we took it over. The big space on 51st Street at 3rd Avenue, corner space. We built it out.
Was that that was across from the train station, the what is it? What's across from there?
Well, 51st and 3rd is
or maybe I'm thinking Lexington.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it was near Grand Central, but so it was like the biggest undertaking. But that was the first time that I had a full concept idea. We were the first to sort of put together a 24-hour Korean deli that sort of exists with foods from all around the world. And that's why I called it Azure. It was like Azure Blue, meaning like everything under the sky we were going to encompass. So we had an incredible pizza bar, a sushi bar, a Mongolian station, hot and cold, so I love food. And so I was like, we're going to provide it. And that was an incredible success.
Right.
So I conceptualized it, I designed it, I negotiated the lease. And so I did that. Then I wanted another project. And I loved when the idea of seeing nothing, making something out of it.
Got it.
And I was drawn to like residential real estate. I'm like, how do people live? And I never lived in a real big home before. So we bought a property up in Purchase, Westchester, Purchase, New York, not too far from here. And I bought a couple of lands and I spec built homes. I was like, I can imagine a family living here, the open kitchen floor plan, which again was ahead of its times. I think it wasn't too common. So I did that. And then I got engaged, then went into the wedding world. And I was like, wow, it feels very mom and pop.
Right.
And it just was a very confusing, and what seemed to me back at the time, at least, kind of shady, because it wasn't like you go to a restaurant and you see all these reviews, you're like, oh, this is great. Or, like today, there's so many places that you can sort of look for reference.
Right.
We didn't have that back then. So I wanted, between the weddings that I was going to, I was like, you know what? In life, weddings and funerals that people stop to go to because we're busy.
Right. And
obviously we don't want it to be the latter or the funeral. So like when you come together, different generations, between 2 to 3 generations, like what does this look like? Right. And when I got into this world, it was, even at the very high end, it was very cookie cutter. It was like, well, what are your favorite colors? And like, people don't, like, who lives like that, So we deconstructed weddings and built it back up to what I consider having soul and meaning. Wow. So every touch point reflected the couple in a genuine, authentic way. Right. So that's how it was to me. It was a business void. There was a void in the market that I thought I needed to fill, or I could fulfill in a successful way.
And you did that. You did it in a very successful way. So successfully that you had celebrities calling you, corporate offers, the whole nine. What was that like when you saw the business expand? I mean, did you instantly know how to expand with it? Like when someone has a concept, let's say, right? And now you have this celebrity and they want to do a big, huge wedding. Where you just flow with that, or was it exciting? Did you just jump right in?
No, I think like or most businesses, and I can only speak for myself, it grows over time. You have to work incredibly hard. You have to know all aspects of anything. So today I consider myself a lifestyle expert. I know the technicalities of lighting. I understand the back of the house. So it's not like you come in and it's full of glamour and you're in a black tie cocktail dress and sipping champagne. It's really not like that. With anything in life, whether it be event planning, event design, to anything else, we know it takes a tremendous amount of hard work if you're going to be successful at it. So when I got into the market, I felt impassioned, like, you know what? I felt life was incredibly busy. We have a short window of time. What are we going to do with the people? And I wanted to take them for a ride. So together with my client, in terms of how are we going to sort of figure this out, I felt like essentially I was the architect of that event.
Okay. And so now that you have these huge events, right? Was that the impetus to have your own store? Because now like you said, your lifestyle, right? So you translated that into home decor, right? Is that how that happened? Or was it something that you always wanted to do as well?
No, I think all of this sort of was a very organic flow. Okay. I will say that's a fun wedding out of Italy, right outside Rome, or in Rome, actually. That was a super fun wedding. No, it all happened organically. I mean, part of being an event designer, we're always scouring the market, looking for talent, understanding, like the forefront of our clients in terms of how do we feed into it to make this exceptional, unique, customized event. So part of the work, I travel the world, I shop, I look for unique objects and stuff. Right. And I built the store initially because I had gone to all the stores, the big box, the little store, but I wanted a store to also feel like it to be an experience, right? That's somebody's valuable time. You know, it's nice where you know you need a carton of milk and some cereal and whatever, and you go out the door. Yeah, that's fine, you know? But I wanted to really delight and really give people an experience where it give them a little bit of the unexpected. I wanted to have that unexpected. So basically, just as the wedding planning, like I wanted a company like I created for me. I created a store that I was looking for. So my store has the best $10 hand-blown glasses to all the baccarat and Hermes. And because you don't know what you're going to find. So you should be looking for things that give you great delight. And it's not the brand that's going to do it. Because when you're at home, you're not looking at the brand. When you've got your great white turtleneck, you're not looking. It's how do you feel when you're touching something. So I created a store that I was looking for. I wanted to be surprised and delighted and have fun. And so my store really feels like an extension of my home. It's a giant 5,000 square feet loft. And it's just, you know, and I think we have the best, greatest gifts, you know, at a very low price point, but we also have the giant, you know, wonderful premium brands that we all revere.
Wow. And so tell us a little bit about the wedding, the bridal part of it, you know, because now you've also have that too, right? Slow dance.
Exactly.
Registry.
Slow dance is my baby and my love right now. I have to say, I'm always about value added. If I can't be of value, I don't want more things in this world, and I hate waste. And I felt that in the wedding registry market, lots of couples, including myself, when I was engaged and had registered and stuff, I registered for all the wrong things because I didn't know. Again, like in college, I wish somebody had told me, you know what, you ought to think about these other options. This isn't your only option because later on you will always be living in New York City. Like I'm a New Yorker at heart, but I wish, and I actually was talking to somebody else super well known who also grew up in New York and went to NYU. And she also shares that every somebody had said to me, you'll always be in New York. You can come back here. Take this time and explore the other side. Because every person, where no one is one-dimensional. I've never met one person that was one-dimensional. We all have layers and nuances. We're all really interesting, you know? And so, but there's a time when you can explore. So back to this wedding registry, it was like this conveyor belt, you know, and you think you're supposed to do all this. And it's like wedding. And I will tell you this story, Musa, because you know me. When I was getting married, I had what you consider a bridal brain. What that means is you know who you are. And it's not like I'm like 21 years old getting married. I'm getting married late 20s. Right. So I have a sense of who I am.
Right.
But what happens is, as a bride, even a somewhat sophisticated, savvy person,
right,
you get this bridal brain. So in the middle of it, I wanted the biggest dress possible. Listen, I think Princess Diana is up and awesome. I think she's incredible, but her wedding dress, not so much. But when I was getting married, that was my poster. That's what I needed. But more than that, I wanted it bigger. Like I wanted it so big I couldn't even fit through a doorway. But that's what a bridal room does. But it's not easy. Lots of well-educated, well-traveled, well-heeled women also get into this. So anyway, I think times have changed, and you know, and I think we understand, and we have lots of wonderful examples of the types of brides and styles that we want to have. Right. But back to that registry piece, I feel like it often gets lost because it feels like an afterthought. People wind up registering for kitchen appliances and honeymoon funds, and like that's not what a wedding registry should be. It ought to be things that you actually will live with, whether you're in that one-bedroom home, because the whole notion of getting married is not about today, but it is, I love this, my partner, and it's the hope of tomorrow and what our future will be. Right. And the things from your registry should carry your entire life cycle together. So imagine yourself today, imagine yourself 5 years, 15 years, and so on and so forth. Those are not, because I'm going to tell you the thing about these honeymoon funds. In my culture, as a Korean American, there's no such thing as wedding registry. They give cash. You know what I did with that cash? Put it in the bank, and guess what? I have no idea. Pay taxis, rent. There's nothing to show for it. But again, had somebody said, you know what? You're going to live a certain life. You're going to want, we all know that in life, we would rather have one super nice thing than a dozen things that are kind of like crappy, you know? And somebody said, you know what, Jung, register for these things and you're going to like, and the reality is I wish I had done that. I have a couple of amazing pieces. I've some really good china that thank God I had registered for. There were things that I wish I had registered that I didn't because I was thinking at the time, even though I really wanted it, what will people think if I register for this? Who are they going to think that I think? I can't put that on, like the audacity. No, you deserve it. If you want it, that needs to go on registry, and people should know. Today, lots of people can, like, we all know friends contribute to get that one special thing versus, you know, a dozen things that aren't meaningless. But so I created the wedding registry because it was me, lots of my friends, and most importantly, my clients, they're like, they didn't know what to do. They felt very lost. We held their hands, understood their style, just like what we do for their weddings.
Right.
And now, Musa, like our clients, they're so excited for it. And when they have their first cocktail party, when we can all come together and their first dinner party and they're using it and we get their style and it's so unique and different to them and it doesn't feel like everybody else's because that all white box thing that they do these partying about, that's BS. That has no place in somebody's wedding registry. I am here to tell you, you got more than that. That's going to a darn big box place to get your wedding registry, your wedding dress. That's not going to happen.
That's so true. You know what I mean? About like, you know, the things that we do, we think we should have, and they always go for, they check off the boxes that we never use and stays in the box. And I love that you do that. Also, I love that you also do the micro wedding thing. I love that. Because we're living in a time now, right, Jung, where, you know, you can't do the huge, you know, or at least you're rethinking it, right? I'm getting married hypothetically. If I were getting married January, right? I'm going to rethink the way I'm going to think about my wedding. I'm still going to get married, but how can we give the same effect, but in a smaller way? And I love that. So tell us a little bit about the micro wedding thing that you have going on. You know,
and we've been doing a lot of it. Listen, whether there's a pandemic and COVID, life still goes on. You can't just stop. It's not a pause. You can't pause life. You know, life still goes on. People still are in love. They want to be together and they want to be married.
Right.
So, and I think whether you're having a super intimate wedding or a larger wedding, all the pieces of it you should have a great dress, a great photographer, great decor. What does your wedding altar look like? The music, what is that? You know, because music is the soul of every single party. So you have to really think about what is the soundtrack to my wedding? The dinner, what is my first dinner going to look like? During these small times, especially like amazing like dinnerware and glasses and your silverware, which I think is so, I don't know, like it's the most sensual thing that, because you're literally putting it to your tongue and your mouth, like, and the way that it feels. So now with the smaller weddings, their wedding registry becomes the china for all their guests. And now to have that sentimental value, like not only is it just a product that I selected that I want for my home that I'm going to use later, no, it starts with day one on my wedding evening. My first dinner as a couple, this is what we're using. So now that object has so much more meaning.
Yeah. And I love that too. And also one of the other things is one really good friend of yours, as well as client as well, is Tamron. And you did a beautiful, right? Isn't she lovely? Don't we love Tamron Hall so much? I love Tamron Hall. I'm like you, blessed to know her and have. We did a project together once, but after doing a project, I've run into her at events or seen her, and she's just like, first of all, one of the most beautiful women in the world. Right? And then like the nicest person. And so you guys have done things together. You know, did a birthday party and been on a show. What's that like when you come together with a client? Do you guys have this like connection or?
I mean, she and I, from the day we met, we just like, I think I got her and she got me, you know? And she's just so beyond beautiful, but like the soul inside just emanates, like genuine, authentic, like just incredible human being, you know? So smart, so kind, an extraordinary mother, you know? And so I remember her when she was single. I remember when she was getting married. I remember when she was having a baby. I remember Moses and I remember doing, we did like a special Mother's Day sort of whole thing at her home, like right outside. So it's just, she's incredible. Like she's been such a, I don't know. She's always in my heart. She's just, I do love her.
Wow. We love
her. Is so lucky to have her in our life on the Everyday Cameron Hall show, right?
Amazing. Amazing. I'm just so happy for her marriage, her child. And I say, you know, Musa is Moses. I like to say that. I'm like, you know, all my friends like adore her. You know what I mean? Everybody adores her. So tell me, let's talk, guys, about the cover.
Woo!
It's that time.
It's that time.
It's that time. And I just want to say, okay, we got Paul. Paul, you did a phenomenal job. We got Steven. Where you at, Paul? Where you at, Steven? Okay. Hey.
Hi.
So we are so excited to talk about Paul. Why don't you talk about it?
We had a great day, and I think that I know Steven and Jung go way back, and I know Musa and Jung go way back. So I was the new person to the team. So, but since I know Steven and Musa so much, they had already given me a heads up of like what to expect and how to kind of enjoy the day. And I was really kind of looking forward to it because I heard it was a beautiful home, and that Jung was so talented and sweet. So it kind of all made sense to just enjoy it. And we really had a very relaxing, fun afternoon. I think it was like more than a few champagne toasts, and there was really good stuff. I mean, when Jung is not hosting an event, he's hosting a photo shoot. So it was a lot of fun to kind of watch her do her thing because there was food and cheese and champagne and just like a really kind of like a little cocktail party to create a photo shoot. So I think that's just who Jung is. And so clearly it comes across in every time she does something. She's trying to make you feel comfortable and welcome. So it was fun. So I think that kind of like obviously exchange of energy leads to great photos, and I hope you like it. So let me pull the photo.
Here we go. I always
see what I got here. Wait a second, so I gotta find the video. That's all right. Okay, cool. Hold on. Here we go. Cover reveal for.
Wow.
Wow.
Gorgeous
Paul.
stuff. Wow. That's
You look amazing.
Look at that.
Spectacular.
I think you're
incredible.
I think you look powerful and beautiful.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And
Gorgeous.
everyone should know, like, this is in a tiny, tiny little powder room bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like bathroom, right. Yeah. So it shows you don't need a lot to make a great photo. You need good energy and a nice kind of environment, and you provide that. So that powder room was tiny. I mean,
incredible.
We were right. Yeah. And Steven did an amazing job with the hair.
Yeah.
I know. Magician Steven.
Thank you very much.
Jump in, Steven.
Well, Jung, obviously, I wanted to make sure when I talk to you about doing this, that you felt comfortable with the idea, because I know how really you're a shy person at heart, even though you're a big boss. So I really wanted to make sure that this turned out to be very beautiful, and I knew Paul was going to do an amazing job. And you and Musa, the connection. So to be honest with you, it was epic because the energy was so great, and we're all represented in such a way, you know what I mean, in terms of being there to do a great job, and so I loved it.
Wow.
I love being there.
I love this cover. The texture, the luxness of it, the beauty, the bossness of it, honey.
I love it.
That's the elephant in the room. This is a boss babe. Okay? That's what I love. You giving me like ruler. You are wonderful. I love it. It's just it's everything. And so Paul, fantastic job. I just got to. This is what we also do, Jung Lee, on the show. Donovan, hello. Courtney, Vonnie, Reese, Tangela, Stephanie, Angelique. How you guys doing? Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Sheila.
They're all showing up. Karen, guys, I love you guys. I don't hate to leave anybody out. But thank you guys for joining us. Isn't this gorgeous, guys?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my God.
So we have
Are you
some
happy,
more.
John?
We have some more.
We have some more. Okay.
We've got some more photos. So I'm glad you love the cover, and we're going to make sure we're going to post this along with more tomorrow or on Saturday, but with the interview as well. So we're looking forward to seeing more photos. I'm going to share them right now. So would you like to see some more photos?
I would love to. My God, total pros doing this. Holy cow.
Absolutely.
Now what's the thing? You guys made it so easy. Look at this. Holy.
Hello.
Vanity
So
Fair
much fun.
Hard out.
Incredible.
I love it.
Yeah, this is all shot in your home, and just kind of like finding places to shoot in what is like a beautiful home wasn't very hard, but we had a fun time doing it. So
that's incredible.
And Jung, what I love about it is also, a lot of people. So I want to tell people, her home, the walls, a lot of it is painted walls, but you had such great wallpaper and texture, and you're not afraid of that.
Yeah.
And
She's
a lot of
the queen
people are.
of it.
But you're the queen of it. But look at this photo right here. It just displays it so well. It's amazing.
It is amazing. You're so talented. It's a team between helping me stylize hair and makeup, the photography. It's all everything. You're right.
I knew it was going to work out well.
It's like my early Christmas gift. Thank you.
Our dream team.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Steven, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Look how
oh my. Wow, Jung.
Well, it's all you, Stephen. Are you giving yourself a compliment?
No, I'm giving you a compliment, my love.
No. It's great.
I love it. Beautiful. Thank you, Donovan.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Myron. I see you.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's a very iconic shot of you. I feel like this is like a CEO
power. I love that.
But Paul, I knew Paul would be the one to shoot you, and he totally captured you beautifully, Jung.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, gorgeous.
And then we have the last one, is the most casual one, which I love too. We have this beautiful egg chair that we shot. Remember the last shot of the day?
Yeah, want to show?
Here it is.
See it.
And you were like, shoes off and relaxed. I think we had three champagne.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's wow.
Great.
Incredible.
Wow.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
I love it.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it.
And,
It's so much.
So thank you for sharing that energy with us.
Oh, thank you guys. I mean,
It was a beautiful day, everybody.
You know,
hold on. when are you coming back? When are we doing this again?
Hey, you know, we're available. Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh. Wow.
Yeah, this is the sultry, powerful one. So thanks for giving all the energy. There were moods throughout.
So fun.
Oh, you're such a genius at capturing moments.
You really are.
Thank you. Thank you
You
so much.
really, really are. I mean, what an incredible team.
Yeah,
And we have thank you everyone for joining us. The cover, the story will be out, if not by tomorrow, by Saturday, right, Paul?
yeah.
And so that's the story. Jamar, how you doing? So listen, we have the Jung Lee with us.
Yes.
It's the holiday. We're coming right into the holidays. Okay. We're also coming into an amazing time, I feel, in January, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell us to give us that festive moment for our homes in regards to, like, you know, we'll all be indoors, right? So what might be some advice you could give us just to maybe lift our surroundings or something? What would you suggest?
I think that, listen, it's hard right now and we get it. So let's accept that and then move on.
Okay.
Dress yourself up.
I agree.
So good. Get as many candles and light them up. Give those lights. Pour yourself really good chilled champagne and toast to yourself. That's what I say. It doesn't have to be more than that. Fancy yourself up and cheers to yourself because you're here and celebrate.
We made it and we survived.
Right.
Yes.
And we have. I agree. And honor yourself, guys. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think that looking good, having nice things around you and surrounding yourself, like make yourself your priority. So honor yourself, and that's the greatest gift that you should do to yourself. And this way, you can sort of spread the cheer because you'll feel good when you do that.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
John.
much. Amazing. Mwah.
You're amazing, Musa. This is incredible, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Huge, incredible undertaking. I tell Steven all the time, like, I don't know how he does it. I mean, truly beyond, you know? And Paul, like, I know you guys are like an incredible team with Courtney and Steven.
Yeah.
Like, you all really need to applaud yourself because this is huge and it's important. It's great.
Yes.
And
This
it's
is the
fun.
moment.
So thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Jung Lee.
Jung Lee, thank you so much. We are honored to have you as our cover star for Ambassador Digital Magazine. We'll be posting it, guys. It's just to die for, and you're to die for. And much love to your family. Enjoy the holidays. Get dressed up. You know, and your family. It's gonna be awesome. We can't wait to all celebrate in the new year. So we thank everyone for joining us. We will see you hopefully maybe next week. But we just want to say we want to send you always off with love. Thank you once again. And as we always,
I want to thank my family for coming in from Texas to watch. They all heard all about you, Jung, and they all wanted to see you this evening.
Oh, how
I
sweet.
love Steven, so I love you guys.
We love you. We love you.
So much.
Okay, and we say, well, here we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much. And live your life with passion.
Thank you, Reese. All right, y'all. See ya.
See you next time.
All right.
Mwah.
Mwah.